Hello everyone, welcome back to the new video of AP Knowledge Point. Imagine waking up in India in the year 2047. No longer a developing country, no longer simply a huge market, but a nation that wants to manufacture the world's most advanced products, lead in artificial intelligence, build its own semiconductor ecosystem, dominate new energy technologies, and become a developed nation. Now ask yourself one question. What would India have to change between 2026 and 2047 to make that vision a reality? Because on 15th August 2026, from the ramparts of the Red Fort, India was not just celebrating 80 years of independence, it was being given a roadmap for the next 21 years. And some of the announcements were much bigger than they initially sounded. Today, let's understand the story behind India's 80th Independence Day and the seven major forces that could shape India's journey towards Viksit Bharat 2047. The day India looked back and forward. 15th August 2026 was a particularly symbolic Independence Day. India completed 80 years of independence, and at the same time, 2026 marked 150 years of Vande Mataram. For the first time, Vande Mataram was rendered as a part of the Independence Day celebrations from the Red Fort. That created a powerful connection between two different movements in India's history. One song that inspired the freedom movement, and one nation now trying to define what freedom should mean in the future. Freedom from poverty, freedom from technological dependence, freedom from excessive dependence on foreign supply chains, and increasingly freedom through capability. That was the larger message of the 2026 Independence Day address. The big question: what does a developed India look like? For the years, India's development story was largely about catching up, building roads, building electricity capacity, expanding digital connectivity, increasing manufacturing, creating jobs, but the next stage is different. The question is no longer simply can India grow? The question is can India become a global leader? And that is where the idea of Viksit Bharat 2047 enters the story. 2047 is not just another deadline. It is the year India will complete 100 years of independence. So 2026 becomes a kind of halfway point between the India of the past and the India being imagined for the future. And according to the vision presented from the Red Fort, the biggest engine of that transformation is not a machine. It is not a government building. It is not even capital. It is India's youth. Why youth is at the center? Think about the India of 2047. The young people preparing for exams today, the students entering colleges today, the teenagers learning coding today, the children discovering artificial intelligence today will become the workforce, entrepreneurs, scientists, administrators, and the leaders of that India. That's why Yuva Shakti became one of the central themes of the address. And then came one announcement that immediately stood out. India wants to train 1 crore young people in artificial intelligence within 1 year. 1 crore, that's 10 million people. The objective is not simply to teach people how to use AI. The larger ambition is to ensure that Indian youth can participate in and potentially lead the global AI economy. And this brings us to the first major transformation. Stream 1: Manufacturing Power. For years, India has promoted the idea Make in India. But the next question is what exactly are we going to make? Low value products or high precision, high technology products that the world depends upon? The new emphasis is on moving towards higher value manufacturing. The ambition is to make India a trusted global supply chain partner. And the phrase that captures this ambition is zero defect precision manufacturing. In other words, don't just manufacture more, manufacture better. Because in the global economy, the countries controlling advanced manufacturing increasingly control strategic industry. And that leads directly to another technology at the center of the new race, that is semiconductors. The government has indicated that another 5 to 8 semiconductor plants are expected to be established in the coming years. The message is clear: India does not want to remain only a consumer of advanced technology, it wants to become a producer. Stream 2: Farm to Global Market. Now let's move from semiconductor factories to Indian farms. The second major stream is agriculture and food processing. The idea is simple. Instead of stopping the journey at the farm, take the product all the way to the global consumer. Imagine an Indian farmer not simply producing wheat, rice, spices, or millets, but becoming part of a global value chain. Free trade agreements can open markets, food processing can increase value, branding can increase global recognition, and traditional Indian products, from millets to spices, can become international products. The transformation is farm, processing, branding, export, and global market. But there is another important element here: the push towards chemical free and sustainable agriculture. So, agriculture is no longer being viewed only through the lens of food production. It is increasingly being connected with exports technology, branding, and global competitiveness. Stream 3: The Technology Race. Now imagine the world of 2047. Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, robotics, space technology, semiconductors, data centers, next generation communication. These are not science fiction concepts anymore. They are becoming the infrastructure of the global economy, and India's challenge is straightforward. Will India merely become one of the world's biggest markets for these technologies, or will India become one of the countries creating them? The vision presented from the Red Fort strongly favors the second option. The third stream of strength is therefore technology and innovation. The ambition is to turn India from a market for emerging technology into a global innovation hub. And one example is already visible: India's digital public infrastructure. The next ambition is to take that capability even further, including next generation communication technologies and eventually made in India 6G. Stream 4: Connectivity. But technology alone cannot transform an economy. A factory needs raw materials, a farmer needs markets, an exporter needs ports, a business needs roads and railways, and that's why the fourth stream is logistics and connectivity. This is where initiatives such as PM Gati Shakti become important. High speed rail, modern highways, ports, industrial corridors, integrated logistics. The goal is not simply to build infrastructure, the goal is to reduce the time and cost required to move people and goods. Because in global competition, time is money. If an Indian company can manufacture a product efficiently, but another country can deliver that product faster and cheaper, the global customer has a choice. So, infrastructure becomes an economic weapon. Stream 5: Defense Power. There is another area where India wants to move from dependence to capability, that is, defense. The fifth stream is defense power. India's ambition is not simply to produce more weapons domestically. The larger objective is to become a global supplier of advanced defense technologies, that are drones, advanced systems, hypersonic technologies, and the other next generation capabilities. This is about two things at the same time: national security and industrial strength. Because modern defense technology creates capabilities that often spill over into civilian industries as well. And when a country can design, develop, and manufacture advanced systems domestically, its strategic independence increases. Stream 6, that is, green and blue economy. Now comes a transformation that could determine the future of the entire planet. That is, energy. AI needs electricity, data centers need electricity, factories need electricity. Electric vehicles need electricity, and a growing economy needs more and more energy. So, India is simultaneously looking at renewable energy, green hydrogen, energy storage, and green mobility with the nuclear power. One of the biggest announcements was the target of 100 gigawatt of nuclear power capacity by 2047, and 5 new nuclear reactors are targeted within this decade. This is not merely an energy announcement, it is an economic announcement because if India wants to become a technology and manufacturing superpower, it will need enormous amounts of reliable energy. Stream 7, India's soft power. But there is one final stream, and this one cannot be measured only in gigawatts, factories, or kilometers of highways. It is India's influence that are yoga, Ayurveda, cinema, tourism, gaming, culture, traditional knowledge, and healthcare. The idea is to turn India's cultural and civilizational strengths into global soft power. Because global influence is not created only through military strength or economic size. Sometimes a country's greatest influence comes from the way the world experiences its culture. And that creates the seventh stream, India's soft power. Seven streams, seven different areas, but all moving towards one destination, that is Viksit Bharat 2047. The announcements that directly affect youth. But the 2026 Independence Day addresses was not only about long term vision. There were announcements that could directly affect ordinary Indians. First, AI skilling for 1 crore youth. Second, a proposed network providing free online coaching for competitive examinations. For students from lower income and middle class families, that could be particularly significant because today competitive exam preparation can become expensive. Coaching, books, test series, travel, and accommodation. The idea of free digital coaching is initially an attempt to make preparation more accessible. Then came another unusual announcement, a nationwide search for spotting talent among children aged 5 to 15 years. The objective? Identify talent early, nurture it, and build a stronger spotting ecosystem ahead of India's ambitions around the 2036 Olympics. So, education, technology, and sports all become part of the youth story. Women healthcare and rural India. The vision was not limited to technology and industry. Women led development also received major emphasis. The target for Lakpati Didis was raised to 6 crore. The idea is to strengthen women's economic participation through self help groups and rural entrepreneurship. Healthcare was another major social dimension. Senior citizens aged 70 and above have been brought under the Ayushman Bharat coverage framework for free treatment benefits up to the specified limit. And the Prime Minister also appealed for greater implementation of the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, which provides one-third reservation for women in legislative bodies. So the development story being presented was not only more factories, more AI, more nuclear power, it was also more opportunity. The security question. But there is another side of becoming a powerful nation, that is security. The threats facing countries are changing. A conflict today may not begin with tanks crossing a border. It could involve cyber attacks, disruption of critical infrastructure, attacks on data center, energy infrastructure, communication networks, financial systems, and other forms of hybrid warfare. That's why the Independence Day addresses also discussed strengthening India's civil defense capabilities. The message is important. A modern economy needs modern security because the more digitally connected a country becomes, the more valuable its digital infrastructure becomes, and therefore, the more important it becomes to protect it. The 1057 people behind the headlines. And while this speech is focused on India's future, Independence Day also remembered the people protecting India today. This year, 1057 personnel from police, fire services, home guard, and civil defense and correctional services were honored with gallantry and service medals that included 301 gallantry medals, 92 President's Medals for Distinguished Service, and 664 medals for meritorious services. Behind every number is a person. Behind every medal is a story of duty. And that perhaps captures the meaning of Independence Day better than any economic target can. A nation does not become strongly only because it has technology. It becomes strong because people are willing to serve it. The bigger story. So, what was really announced on 15th August 2026? It was not just a list of schemes. It was a picture of the India being imagined for 2047, an India that manufactures, an India that exports, an India that develops AI, an India that builds semiconductors, an India that produces advanced defense technology, an India that secures its energy, an India that invests in its youth, an India that uses its cultural influence around the world, and perhaps most importantly, an India that wants to move from being a participant in the global economy to being one of the countries shaping it. But there is a catch. A vision on a speech platform is only a vision. The real test begins after the applause ends. Can these targets become reality? Can India's young population acquire the necessary skills? Can manufacturing become globally competitive? Can India create enough high quality jobs? Can innovation move from government programs into everyday businesses? Can energy security keep pace with technological growth? And can development reach every section of the society? Those are the questions that will define the next 2 decades. In 1947, India inherited freedom. In 2026, India is trying to define what it will do with that freedom. And in 2047, the generation sitting in the classrooms today may be the generation that answers that questions. Perhaps that is why the strongest message of the 80th Independence Day was not about the past. It was about responsibility. Because the India of 2047 will not be created in 2047, it will be created by the decision that we make today. If you are a student watching this video, remember that you are not simply preparing for an examination. You are preparing for the India you will live in. This is AP Knowledge Point. If you found this explanation useful, subscribe for more deeply explained current affairs, GK, and government exam content. And tell us in the comments which one of these 7 areas do you think will decide India's future AI? Manufacturing, agriculture, defense, energy, infrastructure, or soft power? Until the next episode, keep learning, keep questioning, keep moving forward. Till then, Jai Hind.